had two of the councilmen got in an argument one night in the old town hall where we were, and it got heated. And the funny part about it, both of them were North Carolina farm boys and big guys. And all of a sudden, one of them stood up, you know, and the other one stood up, and they were going to slug it out right there. And I jumped in between, no, not here, not here. Take it outside, you know. Not here, not here. And other people started to help me there. But those two guys that you would think had a lot in common. And what they did, they got to arguing about their farm. One of them said something about his farm, and he went broke. And the other one said, well, if you knew what you were doing, you'd still be out there on your farm, you know. You didn't know what you were doing. Well, that flew all over the other guy, and then they flew at each other. And I was right in the middle of the meeting, right in the middle of the council meeting. So I thought that wasn't funny at the time, but it was funny in a way. Things of that nature happened in the earlier days of the town. I came here, the town was 5,500 people in 1993 when I moved here. And 8 years later, when I retired as manager, it was 25,000. So percentage-wise, that's a pretty big growth, pretty rapid. And the first commercial building that we got that wasn't here already, the first commercial building we got when I was manager, and we were really proud of it because we beat out Fuquay and all these other towns. We got a Wendy's down on 64 that's still there. And the mayor went down there and he cut a ribbon. I didn't go. Come back, he had a little mug for me and something, souvenirs. But we were really proud of getting a fast food place. That was a big deal. And of course, that changed pretty rapidly as we grew. The downtown was in bad shape. The main street, Salem Street, and the sidewalks, the street and the sidewalks were all tore up. And so made that a project. Our mayor, Everett Edwards, he knew somebody on the State Board of Transportation. And so they repaved the street, you know, through politics, through friendship. And they put a machine on there that I thought was great. And at first, it ground up the pavement and fed it in by belt into it's like a tar pit. They made tar out of what they ground up and then laid it down fresh, you know. And our electrical department took the electric wires down. They were crossing all over, buried them side by side, and we bought street lamps. And the street lamps we bought were nice lamps, and they had plugs in them so that when we had festivals, you could plug them in. And so, but they cost $1,000 a piece. And pretty fancy street lamps. So the mayor found out about that I was ordering those and getting those. And he came in to see me and he said, Everett did, he says, you can't do that. He says, you got Cadillac taste and this is a Chevrolet town. Pounded, you know, and I said, oh my gosh. He said, no, those are too expensive. I said, what do you want? You want the old wooden post back as street lamps, you know, or what, you know? So I just said, wait a minute. I picked up the phone and got a hold of two councilmen who happened to be in town, and they came. I said, come on down here. And so they came down and they convinced him that they had 3 votes for the street lamps. I tried to tell him, I said, look, we're only going to put them in one time. And they're going to be there for a long, long time. Let's do it right. So that was kind of avoid that crisis. And then he ran for re-election. And one of his pictures was he was standing up, leaning on one of those lamp posts, taking credit for it, you know. And so anyway, that was funny. I thought that he put that in his ads, you know. I told you that my mortgage makes it home, and but I think some of the things that I mentioned there, the small town, even though it's not a small town, it feels like it, and the people are so friendly, and I really love my neighborhood here. Abington is my neighborhood. And I love this neighborhood. We have sidewalks. We have kids coming and going, particularly, you know, in nice weather, not necessarily now. And we have dogs. So Elvis, my dog, has his friends, and we can go out there. And it's a real neighborhood, you know, type thing. Very friendly. So that makes it home to me, is the neighborhood. It really is the key. You know, you can only go so far. You can't go everywhere. So the neighborhood is, and I traveled a lot in my first career in the Army. I bounced around everywhere in the service, you know. And so when I came here and then settled, it's mighty nice to call a place home, you know. My hope for Apex in the future, first of all, I want it to stay prosperous. We're pretty prosperous here. The income level, I think, is good. The ages are good. So I think that we're a prosperous community, and we're fortunate in that, living near the state capitol and everything that lends to it. So I hope it stays prosperous. It's hard to imagine it not, but some towns have deteriorated, and they try to revitalize them. But revitalization is a tough deal if you go down. If you were up and go down. Now, if you were always down, your town, you can pull it up. But if it's ever been up and it goes down, it's very hard to recover. So I hope for prosperity, but I really hope that it can maintain a small town atmosphere, and I think we do some of that through the recreation department and the programs they offer, the senior center, all the ball fields, a lot of people out playing in Apex, which I think is really good. Have to have those things now. In the old days, you didn't, because you had vacant lots all over. So if the kids want to play ball, they could just go to a vacant lot across the street or down the street. Now all those lots are gone. They're built upon, so you need a recreation park now, but we've got those. So I hope that keeps up. I think we're on the right track, and I hope we stay there. I want to compliment, in my tenure here of living here since '93, we've had a very friendly police department, and I hope that stays the same. That's always a fragile thing, I guess you might say, the police and what could happen. And we've had good leadership there, and I hope the police stays the same, and the fire and rescue. Those are 3 things. As a senior citizen, Police, fire, and rescue are very important to me now in my life, and I think we're really outstanding in that area in Apex. I wouldn't trade it for any of them. So I guess I'm kind of voting for the status quo, but I know it's going to grow. But I want it to grow, but keep the traditions and the good progress that people have made over the years here. Before I got here, and since, people have worked hard, and the employees of the town, I'm very proud of them. Coming to town, when I first came for an interview, I was coming out of Florida. I was a manager down there, and flew in here, and they brought me to the town hall and took me around town, the mayor, all of a sudden I kind of felt like I'm a Southerner, so I says, I'm home, you know. I felt like I'm back in Dixie. Florida's really not Dixie, it's South, but it's cosmopolitan. So I felt like that I was close to my roots here. So that was a good, warm feeling. So I felt good about that, and felt good about the people ever since. Friendly people, employees very nice, polite, courteous to people, to the customers, to the citizenry. So you didn't have to worry about that. As manager, I didn't have to worry about the employees. They were really good. So all that was a good kickoff for me. And it was different from the place I had come. So much better, this was much better, you know. So I'd been in a small town as a manager in Waynesville, North Carolina, out west in the mountains, and it was a small town. So I guess I liked small towns, and the culture here was quite different than the mountain culture. But this was more to my liking. I was born in Mississippi, lived there 8 years before we moved, and so I guess maybe that was in me somehow from my childhood, but I liked the Southern way. I had to brag a little bit while I was town manager, which was the highlight of my service to the town. Doing that tenure with the council, the council had to approve everything. We built, first of all, the Public Works building. Then we built a recreation center. Trying to think of the other building. But we culminated in the building of the town hall. That was the last project I was on as town manager. And I think all those things have lent to the town. And I'm proud of those structures, which I guess sounds crazy, but I think they are done in good taste. The town hall kept the flavor of the old town depot, the railroad look, if you will. And so I'm proud of those things. I guess I'm just proud of Apex, and I love it here.